The latest Disney Descendants movie has dropped on Disney+. Here's my review. So, if you saw my review for The Rise of Red, which was the previous film, I didn't really care for that one. I found most of it boring, and aside from the opening musical number introducing Red, almost none of the songs stuck with me. Thankfully, Wicked Wonderland is a significant improvement. For one, the plot is much more interesting this time around. It is still flawed, but at least I was invested in what was happening. I especially like the idea that the ending of the previous film created a new timeline. Because history has been altered, some characters who were previously villains are now heroes, while others who were once good have turned evil. That is a fun concept with a lot of potential, and it gives this movie a stronger hook than the previous one. The music is also catchier and more memorable, although most of the songs feel more like modern top 40 pop hits than songs from a Disney musical. There is one major exception, the villain number performed by the Mad Hatter's son. It is a genuine showstopper that feels like a classic Disney villain song. The performance is delightfully over the top, and you can tell the actor is having a great time playing such a cartoonishly evil character. Unfortunately, the rest of the soundtrack is too pop-heavy for me, and the songs are packed much too closely together. It feels as though somebody starts singing every 5 minutes. In the first 3 films, there would often be around 15 minutes or so between musical numbers, giving the story and characters room to breathe. Here, the movie sometimes seems like it's impatient to get to the next song. Some elements of the story also do not make much sense within the Disney universe. For example, one character is the son of Robin Hood, and I know Robin Hood is traditionally depicted as a human, that the legend has been told for centuries, but this is specifically the Disney universe, and Disney's Robin Hood is a fox, so why is his son a human? We also meet the daughter of Captain Hook and the son of Dr. Facilier, and that raises another continuity question because Descendants 2 and 3 already introduced Hook's son and Facilier's daughter, and why were these siblings never mentioned before? It is certainly possible they existed off-screen, but it still feels strange for the movie to introduce them without acknowledging the characters we already know. One of the best surprises was one of the main characters who's the descendant of someone from Encanto. I love seeing that movie brought into the larger Descendants universe. However, his character arc is essentially the same as his parents' arc in Encanto, and wasn't the entire point of that movie to stop passing unhealthy expectations and pressure down through generations? It feels odd to see the exact same problem happen again in the very next generation. That kind of undoes the point of the first movie. I also have to give credit to Awkwafina. I have said many times that I find her extremely annoying, but she genuinely surprised me here. As the daughter of the Cheshire Cat, she reins in the usual Awkwafina persona and delivers a much more controlled voice performance. She still sounds like she's having fun being evil, but she never becomes unbearably over the top. I never expected to say this, but Awkwafina is actually pretty good in this movie. Not everything feels fresh, however. One of Wonderland's challenges involves a chess game with giant pieces, which already feels inspired by the climax of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It then leads into a musical number featuring knight chess pieces breakdancing, which is pretty much what happened with the knights in Descendants 3. The third act also repeats another idea from that movie. A certain character becomes the villain, and it feels like the filmmakers are recycling the storyline of Audrey from the third film. The circumstances are a little bit different, but the overall direction is familiar enough that it loses some of its impact. Even with those problems, the film is much more entertaining than the predecessor. The timeline concept is intriguing, the story held my attention, a few of the songs are memorable, and the Mad Hatter's son gives us the kind of gloriously theatrical villain the franchise needed. And the ending essentially confirms that a 6th movie is in development, and surprisingly I am now genuinely interested in seeing where the franchise goes next. I would love to see the descendants of some overlooked Disney characters, maybe Yzma, Maui, or even Stitch. There are still plenty of corners of the Disney universe for these movies to explore. This is almost becoming like a live-action Kingdom Hearts to some degree, which I would love a Kingdom Hearts series as well. But I don't think they can do that because of the whole Final Fantasy rights thing, but that's a topic for another day. Descendants Wicked Wonderland does not completely recapture what made the first 3 films work, but it is definitely a step in the right direction and a huge improvement over the 4th film. So for me, it gets a B+, an 8 out of 10, and a 3.5 out of 5 stars. If you like the franchise, it's definitely worth watching. It is much better than Rise of Red.